Hello friends, today I'm going to solve Leetcode problem number 389, find the difference. In this problem we are given two strings and string T is generated from string S where the characters of string S can be randomly shuffled and one more additional letter is added at a random position to the string T. So given example over here is we have string S which has characters A, B, C, D, and we have string T which has characters A, B, C, D and E. So the letter that is added to the string T is E, right? So that is what we return. And similarly in this case it's an empty string S and the character that is added to T is equals to Y, so we return the character Y. So basically the string T consists of all the characters of string S plus one more character, right? So the length of string T should be plus one of length of string S. Okay, and how can we solve this problem? So let's see. If we are to solve this problem, we need to compare each of the characters and find which character was added, right? So basically for that we can sort both the strings and then compare character by character. Let's suppose we have a string S which has A, C, K, right? And string T, okay, let me just add it in some random order so that it's not sorted, and string T is K, A, C and P. All right, so now in this case what are we going to do is we are going to sort the character string S and T. So if we sort we get A, C, K, and if we sort T we get A, C, K, P, right? And if we are to compare each of the characters line by line, so we compare A with A and we know that both of these matches, so we compare C for both of the string, it matches as well, so we compare K with both the strings and these matches. Now we have only one character which is not matching, that is P, right? So that is what we return. But in this case the time complexity would be n log of n because we are sorting this, and the space complexity is constant, right? Because we are not using any additional spaces. So can we solve it in a better time complexity? Yes, of course we can solve it using map method. So we are going to create a frequency map. So for string S we first create the frequency map and then compare the frequency of each of the characters with the characters or letters in string T. So for S we create a map and the frequency map would be something like this, where we have A equals 1, K equals 1 and character C equals 1. Now in our string T, what we do is we start from its first character and we find the frequency of the character K and we reduce the frequency by 1. So now the frequency is 0. Next we take the next character which is A and reduce the frequency by 0. We take the next character C, we reduce the frequency by 0. Next we have P, and as you can see we do not have any letter P in the map. So what we do is we just know that there are no letter P in the string S, so there were no letters, so we return the letter P. Okay, so in this case we are solving it in O of n time complexity, right? Because we are iterating over each of the characters once, and the space complexity would be constant. Why? Because even though we are creating a frequency map here, the maximum number of characters is equals to 26, right? Because it only consists of lowercase English letters, right? And the number of lowercase English letters is equals to 26, so that's a constant value, so the space complexity will be constant. So that is using a frequency map. Okay, and we can also solve it using set. Why? Because like it's not told to us that we need to find basically the frequencies, right? We can just use the set operator, set object over here. So what we can do is we can create a set of all the characters in the string S. So this is what we get, and then we compare each of the characters in string T. Is it present in the string in the set or not? If it is present, then we move to the next character and compare it as long as we found, until and unless we do not find the character which is not present in the set. So since P is not present in the set, we know that P is the character that's been added, so we return the character P. Okay, so basically that is how we can solve it. And in case of set, the time complexity would still be O of n, because we are iterating over each of the characters for both string s and string t, right, once. And the space complexity would again be constant, because the maximum number of characters in the set could only be 26, right, and that's constant. So let's try this set method and see what's the result. So we also need to consider few test base cases, and the first base case is that the length of t should be greater than 1, like the length of t should be 1 plus the length of s, right? So if s length is not equals to, okay, s length plus 1 is not equals to t length, then we return an empty character, or we can return false or anything. Basically these cases we should discuss with our interviewer. And now next what we need to do is we need to create a set. So let's set equals new set, and we are creating a set of the string s, right? So string s, and then create a new set. And now for each of the characters of string t, we are going to check if set dot has the character c. If it doesn't have, then we know that that's the additional character, and we return that character, that letter, else we return empty. Okay, so this is the case when we did not find any additional character. So basically it's said that there is always an additional character, so we will be returning a value c, but this we should always have a written statement that would return just in case anything fails, anything goes wrong. Okay, so let's try to run this code and check if this works correctly. Okay, so I think there is some mistake with this set. So instead of this, I'm just going to use for loop to add the values to this set. So set dot add the character c. All right, now let us run this. Awesome, let's submit this one. Oh, so we have a wrong. All right, so basically this test case means that we need to consider the frequency of the character as well, because like we have the string s has a character or letter a, right, and the string t has letter a and one more letter. So this can be a clarifying question in an interview, where we can ask the interview if a character is repeated or not. So in that case we cannot use set, we have to use frequency map. Okay, so let us then create a frequency map, and let us add to our map the characters. Okay, so map c, if the map is present then we take the value, if not we initialize it with 0 and add a value 1. And now here in this next iteration, where we are iterating over each of the characters in t, we need to check if map c is not equals to undefined, and map at character c is not equals to 0. Okay, so what does this mean is that, for example, if our string s has a character a and our string t has a character a, right, so in that case the frequency of a is equals to 1, right? So when we iterate over each of these, and we also need to actually reduce the value of map c by 1. All right, so once we are iterating, we found our map C. So that means that the map of A is not undefined and it's not equals to 0. So we reduce the value of map by 1. So now this value is equals to 0. Next, we again iterate over the next character of the string T, and then we find that the character at map C is equals to 0. That is, the map of A is equals to 0, right? So in that case, we know that the character A is the one which has been added, right? The letter A. So in that case, we return that character. Okay, so now let's run this code. Something is wrong again. What went wrong? Okay, so this should be undefined. Or okay, so basically what is the case is that if the character is not in the map, that means that it's the new character in string T that's been added. And if the character frequency is equals to 0, which means that we have more than one frequency for that character in string T, so that is when we return over here. Okay, so I was actually doing the opposite. Now let's run this. Great, let's try to submit. Awesome. So this is how we can solve this problem, and I hope you liked my solution. Let me know in the comments down below what do you think of my solution, and please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can get more such videos in the future. And thank you so much for watching till the end.